Okay, in this video we're going to be talking about one more way to kind of divide polynomials, and that's going to be synthetic division. So we have method 1 is long division that you can use, we have method 2 which is box method, and then the last one we're going to talk about is synthetic division. Okay, so using synthetic division, to get your outside number you can do ZPP, so if I set this equal to 0 and solve it, I would add 2, so that would be on the outside of my box. And then I'm going to put all of the coefficients in the inside of the box. I need placeholders, again, if I need them. Okay, so I've got 5, negative 13, 10, and negative 8. Okay, I always drop my first one. I multiply on the outside, add on the inside. So if I drop him, I get 5. I multiply to get 10, and he moves in. And then I add on the inside to get negative 3. Multiply on the outside, add on the inside. Multiply on the outside, so 4 times 2 gets me 8, add on the inside. So I don't have a remainder, and then I jump down 1. So if I started at cubed, I'm going to start my next one at a squared, and then just write it in standard form. Okay, these are really nice when it's just a normal x and there's no number in front of it. They're a lot easier to do. They're going to get harder as we go. Okay, so my next one, if I do x plus 4 equals 0, I get negative 4. That's what's sitting on the outside. I have x cubed, but I lost my squared, so I need a placeholder. And then I got my x and my number. I always drop my first one down, multiply on the outside to get negative 8, add on the inside. Multiply on the outside, add on the inside. Multiply on the outside, add on the inside. I started at cubed, I jumped down to squared, and I just keep jumping them down and writing it in standard form. Okay, my next one, if I solve that, I'm going to get 3 sitting out here. So I've got my, there's always a 1 that sits in front. I've got my cubed, my squared, my x, and my number. So I drop my first one, multiply on the outside, add on the inside. Multiply on the outside, add on the inside. Multiply on the outside, add on the inside. So I started at cubed, I jumped down to squared. And this one we have a remainder, so 3 over the what I'm still trying to divide out of the x minus 3. Okay, the times it really sucks are times like these, because I need to get rid of that 2. What I'm going to do is just divide everything by that 2 to get it out. Because now he's gone, I've got 3x cubed plus 3.5x squared minus 8x plus 5, all divided by x plus 2.5. So that's what I'm going to put on the outside, so a negative 2.5. And then I've got my cubed, my squared, my x, and my number. So I drop the first one, multiply on the outside, add on the inside. Multiply on the outside, add on the inside. Multiply on the outside, add on the inside. So I started at cubed, I jumped down to squared, and that's my answer. Okay, so if you have a number sitting in front of x, you need to divide everything by that number, even that 5 back there, to get rid of it. Okay, so my next one, I have a negative 6 sitting out here. So I've got 4th cubed, I'm missing my squared, I got my x and my number. So I drop my 6, multiply on the outside, and then this one's going to be really big. Add on the inside. Multiply on the outside, add on the inside. Okay, multiply on the outside, add on the inside. Multiply on the outside, add on the inside. So 4, 6, 9, 8. Okay, so I started at 4th, I dropped down to cubed because we kind of divided an x out of it. So minus 21x squared plus 126x minus 784 plus we got that remainder, and then what we're still trying to divide out of it. Okay, my next one, we got to divide 3 out of all of them. Okay, because these are going to be repeating, what we're actually going to do is just try to keep it as a fraction. So it becomes 2x cubed plus 11 thirds x squared minus 4x minus 1/3, because if we change it and we round it, it's going to change our problem completely. So this is going to be x plus 1/3. So I'm putting a negative 1/3 out here. My 2, 11/3, negative 4, negative 1/3. So I drop my 2, I get negative 2/3. If I add that in my calculator, it actually adds to 3 because 11 minus 2 gets me 9. 9 divided by 3 gets me 3. If I multiply those, I get negative 1. If I add those, I get negative 5. If I multiply, I get 5/3. So my remainder is going to be 4/3, which is going to be kind of weird. So I started at cubed. I got 2x squared plus 3x minus 5 plus 4/3 over what I'm still trying to divide out of it, that x plus 1/3. Let's go ahead and rationalize it. So if I multiply my top and bottom by 3, so that we can get rid of those ugly fractions, I'm going to get a 4 up there, and then I distribute to both of those, so I'll get a 3x plus 1, and there's my beautiful answer. Okay, so you can kind of rationalize it a little bit to get rid of the fractions in it by multiplying the top and bottom by the same thing. All right, my next one, it looks like we're dividing a 3, 3, 3. Okay, that's going to be repeating again, so we're just going to go ahead and leave them as fractions. So minus x over 3 minus 7 over 3 divided by x plus 1 over 3. So we're going to stick a negative 1/3 out there. I got a 2, a negative 1/3, and a negative 7/3. We drop them, get a negative 2/3. If I add those, negative 1 plus negative 2 is negative 3. Divided by 3 is negative 1. That gets me a 1/3, which would get me negative 6 over 3, so a negative 2. So I've got 2x. I started at squared, I dropped down to x, so that 2 is actually the remainder. So 2 over x plus 1/3. We still need to rationalize it, so I need to multiply my top and bottom by 3. So 6 over 3x plus 1, because you got to distribute to both of them. Okay, if you have a problem like this where you have a number in front of the x, I would use box method or long division. If you don't have a number in front of the x, it's way easier to use synthetic. Okay, so we're sticking a 2 out here. I have a 5th, I don't have a 4th, I have a 3rd, I don't have a squared, I don't have an x, and then I've got my number. So I drop my 1, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply. We got a remainder. So I started with 5th, I jumped down to 4th, then I got my cubes, then I got my squared, then I got my x, then I got my number, and then I got my remainder divided by what I'm still trying to take out of it. Okay, my next one, it says, sketch the graph of the following polynomial function if I know one of the roots is 4. So I know the root is 4, so if I put my roots down here, I know one of them is 4, so I know it's crossing at 4. I got to find some other ones. So since I know one of them's 4, I can use synthetic division to find the others. So I'm going to stick that 4 out there. I got cubed, squared, my normal. Okay, so I'm going to drop this one, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply. I started off cubed, I jumped down to squared. And if I'm still trying to find more roots, we're going to set it equal to 0 and solve it. So it multiplies to 10, adds to 7 is 5 and 2. And I can now find my 2 other roots. So x plus 5 equals 0. X plus 2 equals 0. So I subtract 5 and get negative 5 as one of the other ones. Subtract 2, get negative 2. So negative 5 and negative 2 are my other roots. Okay, I look at my front. I've got an x cubed. So I know it is odd. And the number in front is positive. So that tells me my back end arrow needs to be going up. Odd means I need to go opposite direction. So I know it needs to go up. And then I need to connect through it. It needs to go down on the back end. Okay, my next one here, I know one of them's negative 7, so I'm going to put that negative 7 in there so I don't forget him. And put him on the outside. So I got 1, 3, negative 25, 21. Multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply. So x squared minus 4x plus 3. We got to find the other 2 since there's a total of 3. So multiplies to 3, adds to negative 4 is negative 3 and negative 1. if I do my ZPP and solve this one, I'll get 3 and 1. So 1 and 3. Okay, my front end, it's odd and positive again. So odd means it's going different directions. Positive means my back end arrow needs to be going up, and my front end arrow needs to be going down. And then I just connect them all. Okay, if you would have equations like y equals x plus 2 squared, x minus 1, okay, you automatically have your roots to figure out the arrows. There's 2 x's here, 1 x here, so it's technically like an x cubed. Okay, and then if there's no negative in front, it's positive. Okay, so it would be odd because there's 2 x's here, 1 here. So odd and then positive means my back end arrow would be going up, my front end arrow would be going down. Okay, let's say you had something like, if it lets me erase, y equals negative x plus 1, x minus 2 cubed. Okay, so that means there's 3 x's in this one, 1 x in this one, so there's a total of 4, and it's negative on the outside, so it's going to be even, negative, so even is even Steven, so up, up, or down, down. Because it's that negative chilling in the front, it would be a down, down. So you kind of count how many x's there are to be able to do it. Realize if there's an x just chilling out here, that counts as 1, and then you look to see if it's positive or negative in the front.